Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and I just want to say thank you for coming by and checking out my video. And we are here at Suzuka with the Audi R8 EVO, and I sure hope you stick with me. This is going to be a little bit different video, a little bit different setup video, a little bit more detailed, and I'll explain why. I had Jay, the lonely driver, request some help on a setup for Suzuka with the Audi, and he's got a couple drivers with him that they're running the Suzuka 8-hour in a couple weeks. And again, it's a unique thing because you want to set up. This is just my opinion, okay? So this is not gospel. This is just my opinion. But to me, you'd want a car that is more driver friendly, that is not on razor's edge, because obviously you're running it a long time. It's too easy to put it in the wall. It's got to be variable conditions, as far as, I mean, what happens if it rains a little bit and the track gets a little wet, or what happens if it goes from hot to cold or cold to hot, or, I mean, things are going to be so varying. The car's got to be ready for that. It can't be so narrowly focused that it can just handle one little thing and that's great, but then everything else, it's terrible. So that's what I really tried to do with this setup. I really tried to get a car that was very balanced, and like when I did this setup, I ran the car with 110 liters, and I really wanted the car to feel balanced, not just for the fast lap, but for a lot of laps. So that's what I did, and we'll go ahead and start like we usually do. I want to go, and I know a lot of people, obviously know this track very well, but I just want to go over it for anybody that would like the help as far as going through this on this track. And I also want to show where I'm braking and what gear I'm using and things like that running these times. So basically, and excuse me, I'm a little tired. It's the middle of the night, and I've been working on this for a while, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff. So just kind of like I said, I hope you bear with me. Again, I use the 50 or this road right here for my brake marker going into turn 1. And I hold it tight, go down to third, and then second, bring it back close, let it drift out, come back, and then I get on these curbs. Let me go back one more. I get on this curb here, but I try not to go on top of them because it's just too crazy. Just, as long as I'm touching them, that's what I'm trying to do. Again, trying to touch the curbs. If you hit the brake, you just touch the brake. You do not, you don't, just barely just hover on it. You don't want to do any kind of drastic braking through these S's. Now here, I just want to say right here, there's a really bad bump or hole or something at the beginning of this green here. So you do not want to hit that, because it will definitely upset the car and you will probably lose it. I try to stay off the top. Again, I just stay on the stripe part, not on the green part. And here I go downshift to second. So I was in third, now I'm in second. And again, I'm just trying to stay right on this curb here. And I upshift. And then get on this curb here is okay. I like to get up on this curb pretty good. And then that way I can accelerate pretty early through this next turn right here. Right before the 50, I'm on the brakes. Downshift from 5th to 3rd. Now here, I mean, again, just like I did with the Bentley a month ago or something, when I did a video, I try to just barely touch this curb. It doesn't really help, and all it does is upset the car. So to me, you don't need to run all over it, but just touching it is fine. Down here, downshift again, and here I mess up a little bit. I know, I just touch that curb. That was fine. again, I want to show that again. Come through here. I like hitting this curb here. I don't mind hitting it, but you just got to be careful not to run up on the grass and lose it and and run off here. So you just got to be really careful doing it. As soon as I get off, I'm on the brakes. Hug it close. Come up through here, and then right there, this road is what I use for a brake marker. Go down to third. Hold it. You gotta be really careful through here. I can't emphasize that enough because this is starting to go off camber, and the back end will start sliding. So you just gotta be really careful through here. And I downshift down to second right here, usually at the end of this striping curb here. And you might want to touch the brakes, but you just don't. You gotta be really careful. Here at 50, I downshift once, turn in. Here, right before the 100, I basically is my brake marker for the chicane up here. And again, the chicane, you gotta be really careful. It's really big, and it will upset the car. I did the best I could so it would take it okay, and it should be fine. But you don't want to go crazy with it, and just be ready. You might have to drive the car a little bit. That was a 201.79, which I'm really, really happy with because that's a really good time for, basically it's got 102 liters. So I'm really, really happy with that. Last time, the other video, the last time I did a setup for Audi here, I did a 202.97, and that's with 50 liters. So, see here I slid and made a little bit of mistake, but again, I caught it, it was okay. That's what I'm talking about, a car that, things like that happen, but, yeah, you lose time, but you don't wreck. It's just, going in a little bit too aggressive. And again, I was trying to push hard just to see, what it can handle, what it can do, what it can't do. Again, I get caught a little bit there. Again, probably a little bit too aggressive. Know, 110 liters should run an hour. I mean, I did the fuel mileage, and 110 liters should run an hour. So, I mean, unless it's some kind of other crazy weather conditions, but basically it would in this. That was a 202.59, and again, that's because, I made some mistakes, and again, I just blame that on just being tired and, just not driving well. Beautiful car. I love that livery. Great liveries. Some Audis have some really great liveries. second with double the fuel. So, you know, I'm really happy with that. I'm sure there's a lot better drivers than me at Suzuka. I love the track, but you know, I'm not. It's not probably it's not really a strong track for me. I love driving it though, so I mean, it was good. I got a lot of practice with it, so I did lots and lots of laps. I'll show you here once we see this, but I did about 29 laps just with this part here. Not this fuel load, but I mean this setup. So that was a 201.83. So I brought it back, did, you know, smooth, you know, did some, you know, driving smoother, and basically got to where I got the time back where it needed to be. Now, basically, all of the other times are all in basically 202s. So I'm still happy with that. So let's move on, and I'll show some of the timetables and the setup and all that. Don't want to bore everybody. Let's go to the timetables first. So I wanted to show you, you know, this is the last stint here, because I mean this is when I came in and I ran these laps here and ran a 7.9, and there's the 202.59, 201.83, 202.45, 202.28, 202.95, 202.69. So it's all right there. So I mean I'm happy with that. Pretty good increase as far as as far as performance over what I had before with the older setup. So again, I'm really happy with that, and it feels really good, a real solid setup. Let's go over it. And I want to go a little bit more detailed. Again, I'll explain a few things here. The front tires are 26.5, and on the front, and the rear tires are 26.1. Again, I set it up for about, basically, mid 27s to 28.1, somewhere in that, low 28s as far as hot. So that's where I like to keep it. The toe in the front is negative 0.1, and the camber is negative 3.4, and the caster is 15. Now I tried all kinds of different stuff here, so I tried is all over the place. I was as high as negative 4 on the camber, but it did not gain me any performance, and the only thing it did is gain tire wear. So I kept going down and down and down until I got to here, and I don't really want to go down anymore. But I mean, negative 3.4 is optimum for, and I actually ran, like I say, the good time with it. But to me, it's optimum, the good balance between performance and wear. On the rear, the toe is 0.15 and the camber is negative 2.4. And again, I did the same thing. I was all over the place, and I still have the best wear with what I'm set at here. Electronics are 2 and 5. Fuel, again, I had 110 liters with the number 2 brake pads. Now again, I did that because I wanted it, because I know they're running this for the 8 hours of Suzuka. So, you can't do that with the number 1. And also, you got to have the number 2 also because, it can handle a little bit of rain. So, but you definitely want that because it would last the whole 8 hours. So, I did that. As far as the last set, as far as the tires, that's the last ones that I did. Now, you have a light grain on the front, but I'm not going to worry about it because the wear on of it is really good. And even at the time you got done, even if it was moderate, so what? I mean, the tires, after an hour, they're going to be shot anyway. And I think the performance will stay consistent. You can see the wear there and the wear here is pretty close. So again, you don't see a huge difference front or rear. I mean, It's very close, 272, 274, 276, 269, 271, 272. So the rear is wearing a teeny bit faster than the front, so which is, pretty normal for the Audi with the rear, obviously with the V10 and rear drive. Um, but it's the same on both sides. I mean, again, it's real close, 27, 272, 273, and this is 272, 274, 277. So I'm really happy with that, and trust me when I say that some of the other ones were way worse. Like this one, see that one is not even worn as bad, and it's light, and it's not even worn as bad. That's when I think I was wearing higher negative camber. But anyway, I just wanted to show that they're, what the wear was. Next, the mechanical. I have the anti-roll bar at 4, the brake bias at 58, and the steering ratio all the way down at 12. The wheel rate is springs are 153,000 for the front, 1,000 bump stop rate, and 2 for the bump stop range. And on the rear, the wheel rate or springs are 144,000 with a 600 bump stop rate and a 5 bump stop range. The anti-roll bar is 2, and the preload on the diff is 80. And I'll explain some of this. The anti-roll bar, I tried at 3, and it slowed down. The car would slow down. So it obviously liked being, needed to be a little flatter. So to keep the front flat and get the grip it needed, I had to go back up to 4. I tried brake bias is about as low as I want to go. The wheel rate, I've tried all kinds of different spring combinations, and I tried 1 click more on each one of these wheel rates and tried that, and it did feel pretty good, but I didn't gain any performance. The times were basically exactly the same, if not a little slower, and the only thing I saw was more wear. So again, if the performance is equal, I'm going to go with the softer spring. And maybe some people, everybody out there is going, well, why would you do that? Well, I would do that. My reasoning is, what if the weather changes? You got 8 hours. What happens if it rains? What happens if it goes hot to cold? Hot to cold, or night, dark to night, or morning to daylight, or whatever. Things are going to change in 8 hours, and the grip level is going to change. I'd rather be on the soft side, so when it does get slick, you have a little more grip than somebody that's really focused on a really stiff car that has no grip. So, may have tons of grip, a really good grip and perfect conditions, but if the track is only fast or green, they're not gonna. So again, that's why I did that. I did that because I wanted the balance of, in case the conditions change. That's the reasoning behind it. The anti-roll bar, I had 2. Now I tried that at 3, and it actually, I think, would go faster. The car rotated better and felt better, but it also, after a few laps, it was too hard to control, and it would rotate too fast. So again, I put it back to 2, because even though maybe a little faster at 3, it won't be faster over a stint, and you'd end up fighting the car. So but I did try it. Preload on the diff, I went from 80 all the way up to 140. 80 is really good because of those S's going back and forth. It really keeps the car free, so it changes direction, which that's what you're wanting it to do, and not impeding it changing direction. Where if you're locking up the diff, it's wanting, it doesn't help that. So that works really well. And then the dampers or shocks on the front, it's 21, 18, 22, and 18. And on the rear, it's 21, 18, 24, and 20. And again, I did a lot of work on here, and it's the best that I could get it. And I think it's really good, really stable, and still performs really well. Aero, I have 57 on the front ride height, 60 on the rear with the 5 rear wing, and the brake ducts are at 4 and 4, and the front aero variation is a negative 4.3. Now the old setup was a negative 4.2, so it's really close as far as the front aero variation, but it sits a lot different. I have the car raised up a little more ground clearance. So when you hit a bump or hit this or that, it's not going to upset the car. Um, and of course, I have a lot of rear wing in it to keep the back end stable, and also the brake ducts. I have a lot more brake ducts to keep the tires and brakes cool. And again, that depends on the temperature. You obviously, just like the tires, if it's cold, you can close them up a little bit. If it's super duper hot, you might have to open them up more a little bit. So it just all depends on the temperature of what you're dealing with. You have to make that kind of call. Um, so I always set it up to around, the track's 24 and between 24, 25, and 30. That's where I'm always do all my setups at, trying to get in the middle somewhere. A little maybe on a little bit on the cooler side, but nothing drastic either way. Um, and that should do it. Again, I will put this as a link in the description so you can download it and put it in your file. And I sure hope you try it, and any feedback would be very appreciative. And please, if you could, to support the channel, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and hit the like I said, the thumbs up with all the YouTube stuff. It really does help with getting the videos around and sharing it. If you can share it, anybody else that likes setups or wants to try it with ACC content. And also, please check if you're still subscribed and your bell is still you still have the bell hit, because we have another subscriber that said that basically his is not the bell was not hit anymore, and he had to redo it. So just please, again, just check that to make sure. I don't know how it happens with YouTube, but I guess it happens once in a while with some of the other YouTubers and channels. So I sure appreciate it, and I sure hope you come back soon. And I sure hope everybody has a great day. See ya.